So we're going?
Yeah. Yes, we're going. Let's do it. Get pumped. Get pumped, JP.
That's my pumping sound.
Okay.
Pump it.
Hey, I'm Dave, and you're listening to another Podcastle. Joining me tonight is Tam,
Hey.
JP,
Yo, yo.
Zach,
Just regular high.
and I don't know why I said that like there was going to be a fourth person to say. There's not. It's just those three. Thanks for joining in for a podcast tonight, guys. I know we've had some technical issues, but we will push on. Let's go through March's releases, which of course we talked about last podcast. Then we'll get into a few bits and pieces of news. There's not too much to talk about. And then, of course, talk about the games coming out this month in April. So looking at that list there, you can all see that list there that we had for March. Did you guys pick up any of those games? We'll start with you, Zach.
Yeah, as we said last month, I think three of us at least picked up Twilight Princess HD, including myself. I don't know about you guys, but I've been playing through it somewhat slowly, but I've just beaten the Snowpoint Temple with the cool Yetis and the mansion that you don't realize is a dungeon quite straight away. Then you're like, oh my god. But I've been having a good time.
I barely remember anything about Twilight Princess.
Well, I won't spoil the ending of the dungeon, but it has a very memorable moment at the end. But yeah, I think JP and Tam picked it up, so I don't know if they want to talk about if they've had a chance to play it yet.
Yeah, well, I don't know about JP, but I haven't played it yet. So my copy just sits unopened in my cupboard, staring at me, calling at me, Tam, come play.
Like the rest
Come
of your
play.
games.
And I'm just like, nope, not going to play it.
Well, for me, to be honest, I started it, but then I got back into my other 3DS games, and yeah, I haven't had a chance to go back to it yet.
So Zach, you're the only one that's played a decent amount of it, and you're pretty happy with it then?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does a good job at sort of making Twilight Princess a little more playable in today's day and age. Not that it was that unplayable to begin with, but it looks a bit cleaner. Other than that, it's not like Wind Waker where they made any major changes. You climb a bit faster, which is cool, I guess. There's a stupid wolf dungeon with the amiibo. Nothing crazy. Good time. If you haven't played it, give it a shot.
So what else did you guys pick up?
Well, I think we all picked up Pokken from memory, so I guess we've all been enjoying that.
I'm surprised how popular that's been. Like, everyone seemed to actually jump on it at launch, and I wasn't expecting that many to pick it up. But,
Well, honestly, I didn't expect to pick it up myself, as I mentioned in the previous podcast. I was like, nope, not going to pick it up. And then I had some vouchers and my friends wanted to play it, but they weren't going to buy it. So I was like, oh, fine, I'll go pay the $90 and get it.
Yeah. Spawn Point actually had a night where they bought the game on Wii U. And yeah, they just had it at the bar, and I thought I'll give it a go, and I actually grew a liking to it. And Charizard and Mexican Pikachu were probably my favorites that night.
Zach, how are you finding it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I've been maining Marchant for no particular reason other than it's Marchant. He's muscly as all hell. And I think David, I don't know, but I think we're the only two that actually picked up this Pokken controller, which is basically a glorified SNES controller, but I've only used it for a couple of days because it came out, like 3 weeks after the game or something stupid like that, but it's alright. It's a controller.
The game itself isn't really Pokemon, it's not really Tekken, it's sort of like its own unique thing. I've forgotten what the two modes are called. What are they called? Arena Phase and...
Dual Phase.
Dual Phase.
2D one.
Yes, so it jumps between like your normal 2D fighter, like Street Fighter, Tekken, and arena fighters like
Naruto or like Dragon Z, that sort of stuff.
There was another one on the tip of my tongue and I can't think of it now.
Definitely feels like the most Smash-like 3D fighter in the sense that like there's no crazy quarter circles or stuff. Just forward A and or maybe tap Y 3 times is about as complicated as it gets.
There's a lot of different combos you could come up with, especially when you bring support Pokemon into the picture. But they've done a good job of making it appeal more to, I don't want to say casual crowd, so it's more just appealing to those that aren't so into fighters.
You'd imagine a lot of Pokemon players not necessarily have played any fighting games because they're very different genres, so it's good for them to get into it if they just want to see their favorite Pokemon or a chandelier in 3D and fighting.
Exactly, because it's just really accessible. So I was playing it with my sister, who doesn't really play games that much, and she was having a blast with it, and she was playing more of the single player than I was, and we just had a lot of fun with the multiplayer because it has a lot of depth as a fighting game, but it is very easy to just pick up, play it, and put it down again.
Yeah.
Well, when I started playing it at spawn point, I was actually button mashing a lot. Didn't know what I was doing or what to do. And then I actually bought the game, and the tutorial I found was very helpful, and it explained what a lot of the buttons, how to actually play with a bit of skill.
Yeah.
And I quite enjoyed that afterwards. Yeah. And it's probably the first Pokemon spin-off I've actually taken a liking to.
Oh, what about Pokemon Snap? You can't hate on Pokemon Snap.
I've never played that.
Sam will kill you.
What?
Never.
Yeah, didn't I vow to kill anyone who hadn't played Pokemon Snap in a previous podcast? I think I did. I'm coming for you, JP.
Didn't Pokemon Snap?
I'm so scared.
Isn't Pokemon Snap coming to Virtual Console? Am I right?
It's just come out in Japan on Virtual Console, so
it is coming. And if you do not buy it on your Wii U, I will hunt you down and make you play it. Like Sekiro Sanshiro.
What if I've got the 64 version and the working 64? Do I need the Wii U version as well?
Yes, because you need to send a message to Nintendo that people want more Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a second. Wasn't it also on the Wii Shop?
It was.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. It is on the Wii Shop.
Yeah, and it connected to the photo channel, so you could actually, I guess, upload photos to that. I don't know why you would want to do that, because I forget what that channel did, but you could do it.
Well, it was like back in the day, you could take your game to like Toys R Us and download the film.
All right, other March releases. I think, did we all get Miitomo?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's free.
And of course, the Twilight Princess Picross, which came as a reward for it. I think we all got that by now as well. How are you guys finding Miitomo?
Honestly, as I keep on, as I'm trying to get this statement to get on, is that it's basically everybody votes channel with Tomodachi Collection like Miis that just walk around and chat with people. It's a glorified question and answer questionnaire app, really. Like I enjoy it for what it is, but it's really not that. It's not really special, I don't think. And I'm kind of tiring of it at this stage because there's not really that much to do aside from do that the Mii drop and try to get costumes, and then you just get candy because the later stages are just random and mean and want to take your hard-fought tokens, and it's just a scam.
Yeah.
It's a scam.
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus, that's loud. Sorry, I was just checking my Miitomo.
It's Miitomo!
Yeah, I've been becoming addicted to it on and off, to be honest. I mean, when I'm on it, I'm kind of addicted, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, let's see what you have to say. Let's see what you have to say. Okay, boring answer. I won't give you a heart. Good answer. I'll comment to you. And yeah, and probably the only downside is the more friends you have, the harder it is to keep track of everyone.
Yeah. Well, because you can only have a certain amount of their answers as well, and then if you want more, you have to go feed them sweets in their house.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Exactly.
I've never given sweets to anyone. But It's an interesting social experiment in many ways more than it is an interesting game, because it's interesting, like how people answer the different questions is just sort of like a fascinating insight to your friends or random strangers from Twitter, and their thought process.
Or do you think it's a social experiment to see how other people act with other people, how they interact?
Yeah. What would Nintendo's be like if they actually let us have free reign on how to speak to each other if we played games together? Would we swear? The answer is yes. We swear a lot.
It's like Picto Chat. It just descended into people drawing penises at each other. And what was that? What was that serve? What they had this they had to end that Nintendo mailbox thing on the 3DS because people used it for pedophilia.
The letterbox.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Also,
So that's why. So it's understanding why Nintendo sometimes overreact to these things.
yeah.
On that note, I think it's funny that Nintendo eventually only allowed something like Morse code in that Steel Diver game. And,
Yeah.
and then even that they had to remove. I don't know
Yes, because
why they felt they had to remove that.
Jay, because the pedophiles were resorting to Morse code to get their targets.
Surely not. Surely not.
Beep 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 beep.
Sorry, Zach, you wanted to say something?
I was going to say, side note, the Miiverse stage on Smash has become my go-to stage just because of the absolute insanity that goes on in the background whenever you pick a Sonic or a Pokemon character.
Just memes
It's
everywhere.
just, and it's like little kids, or they're probably just adults pretending to be little kids being stuff like, why do my parents fight all the time?
Oh, I
Just
love that.
random
Yeah.
stuff like that. Just in the background. It's so good.
Did anyone pick up anything else?
I played Stellar Glow. It's a strategy RPG. Nothing really special, but there's not really any other strategy RPGs on the 3DS, so it's probably worth playing. It has decent production values, a good Atlas localization, decent voice acting, decent gameplay. So I guess if you're bored and want a strategy RPG, probably worth picking up. There will be a review eventually on another castle, so you'll hear my in-depth thoughts and illuminating, enlightening prose about how I like it or
And
not.
you say
later.
they're glowing.
Yes, it will be a glowing review, and it's a stellar game, mate.
You're the word.
Uh,
Stop talking. Alright, bits and bobs of news that we had. We had the Oculus Rift launch.
Because that was just randomly announced in like early March, wasn't it? Like, oh, it's coming out in 2 weeks.
Yeah. The Rift did launch with, I think, about 30 games. Not all of those were games that just released on that day. It was more, those games got Oculus Rift support for the launch of the Rift. And so, it totaled up to 30 games, which is pretty impressive for the launch of virtual reality in gaming, I think. Because that's the first one. Later this year, we'll get to see HTC Vive and PlayStation VR. Have you guys been keeping an eye on those at all, or which one would you lean more towards if you were going to go for it?
I'm getting I've pre-ordered the PlayStation VR tentatively because it's the cheapest and I have a PS4, so I'm like, yeah, it may as well.
Fair enough. I think I'm gonna steer clear of PlayStation VR only because it's purely for PlayStation. And I just don't think they're gonna use it enough. I think it will just be this thing that they might throw in for a couple PlayStation games, but because not enough people will have this VR headset, there won't be too many developing for it.
You're exactly right.
It's
It's the same issue that the Kinects and PS Move run into.
Yeah, that's how I feel it's going to go for PlayStation
And
VR.
and even Wii Motion Plus as well. It's very hard to get a huge development following for those add-ons when not everyone's going to own it.
I guess my concern with the other two is, and I could be wrong, but I almost feel like they might end up being like going under the phone model of having like iterations like every year, or like the TV model. Like there might be an Oculus Rift every year and like a HTC Vive every year with minor updates, and eventually your version won't work with some game or something. I don't know. It just seems like that's very possible. Maybe I'm a bit cynical, but this current state of VR seems like it's still the stepping stone to what most people want VR to be like. I don't know. I've used an Oculus Rift and it's cool, but it's more like a really cool monitor, like 3D and, you know, sort of immersion, but not like until I can wear a suit or something, or like have it plug into my brain so I actually feel like I am wherever I'm meant to be. Like it's not going to quite be the like, you know, ultimate VR experience. This is just like the next step after, I guess, the Virtual Boy was like the Stone Age for VR or something like that.
I think you're right. And personally, I think I'll always be just content having a TV screen and sitting a couple of meters away from it with the controller in my hand. I think that's going to be me for
I'll be fine
the
with that
next
as well.
3 decades.
I still think we're a long way away from actually having virtual reality kicking off.
Fair enough, guys. Moving on to the next bit of news. We'll try to rush through these a bit more. Pokemon Go field testing is coming to Australia and New Zealand, and I think all of us would be signing up for that. So
Yes,
it's pretty cool that Australia, and yes, you are getting it, JP. You're a Pokemon fan now. You're getting Pokemon Go, and then you're getting Pokemon Sun and Moon. One of us.
Yeah, he's going to get both Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then get 2 3DSs and play them together. Because you love Pokken JP.
How great is it that Australia and New Zealand basically get to be the guinea pigs for a lot of a lot of mobile launches?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think it's pretty good.
Have you seen the Kickstarter? There's some Australian groups that have this Kickstarter to like fund some trip across Australia, and they're gonna play Pokemon Go and film it.
I saw that. I feel like that's too soon.
I feel like we need to know exactly how it's going to work. I know we have a much clearer idea now, but there's still so many variables that like that could be the most boring road trip ever, like the biggest waste of money if it's not like everywhere.
Yeah, to be fair, I think they're basing it on how Ingress works. It's the same developer.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of like, but does the Kickstarter? I haven't looked at it in depth. Are they aware of how Ingress works, or are they just like most people on Facebook who are like, I'm going to go to a bar and then battle people with my Pokemon, even though that's not actually a thing in the game by the look of it?
No, they understand how it works because they're talking about going to different landmarks like Uluru and the like, or they reckon that Nintendo has mentioned that different like special landmarks are going to have special Pokemon.
They may not actually be able to catch every single Pokemon because they're not going to Perth. They're not going to Tasmania. I mean, that's sort of like a bit hard, but if they're not going everywhere in Australia, they may not even be able to catch every single Pokemon in Australia. We don't have that information yet.
Yeah, because they're assuming that you just have to go to different like climate areas like desert, wet, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they're covering all those. That's why they're going to like Uluru and Darwin.
I feel like that's how it would go, but you never know. You never know how they're gonna.
Yeah, I think it's just they need more info before that can make sense. But I had a similar idea where like if it actually came out and there was lots of like good Pokemon around the place, you just like do like, you know how people do like tours of like Melbourne or Adelaide or whatever, just do tours of like Melbourne but with the specific goal of going to wherever like all the Pokemon are and charge people that way, like tourists and stuff. That'd be pretty I reckon that'd be fun. And also money.
Also money.
Final Fantasy 15, there was a big conference, I think, can't remember what they called it, like was it Final Fantasy 15 revealed or
either
something?
Unveiled or uncovered. It's
Uncovered. It was Final Fantasy 15 Uncovered. They had this conference about, I think it was about 20th of March or so. So basically they just announced all this Final Fantasy 15 information that Final Fantasy 15 is coming out in September. It's going to have a movie with it. I think there's an anime as well, probably. There's a demo that went up recently and I think it's, well, the second demo, because it was a demo with Type Zero, and basically, and they also announced this limited edition Final Fantasy 15 release, it only had 80 copies in EB Games, and probably similar in JB Hi-Fi, and it basically sold out in a couple of minutes. So, actually no, at JB Hi-Fi sold out in a couple of minutes. EB Games, they raffled off to the level 5 EB World customers. So I think they get raffled off to have a chance to buy it. So I think Square Enix did a great job at having a really limited release of their limited edition of one of their most popular games. So these guys are great. They must really hate money. That's what I'm taking from this. Like, the thing is, people will be willing to buy this collector's edition that all that comes with is like a couple of art cards, I think, like a statue and some other throwaway stuff. People will pay like $150 for it probably, or more, and they're like, nah, we're going to make it really limited.
But Tammy, what is limited edition if it's not limited?
Yeah, but the thing is, there's very limited amounts of limited. Like, generally a limit... Like, I know collector's editions are generally more limited than limited edition, but still, when you have a big game like that, you generally make it a bit more available.
Would you like a proper ranking of how limited your collector's editions will be, Tam? So, like, when a limited edition is announced, it'll either be announced as slightly limited edition or very limited edition.
or extremely limited edition, yeah. Well, no, yes, exactly. Yeah. Or just they state how many copies there are out there. Like, I think I have one of the 10,000 Bayonetta 2 collector's editions.
What are only 10,000 of those?
Actually, no, 40,000, sorry.
Oh, wait, you only have Bayonetta 2 collector's edition. Okay, I don't
There's not many of them.
Yeah.
I think it's like 40, I think.
I'm actually curious if people will actually buy 2 copies just because they don't want to actually open up the limited edition. Because it's so sacred and special.
That is almost certain to happen to at least, like, I'd say 10% of the collector's editions. Like, almost certain. The price they go for.
Scalpers are always an issue.
Speaking of buying 2 copies of one game, Rocket League has had a physical collector's edition announced. And I'm a bit peeved at this because, as far as we know, we can't get these 4 exclusive cards unless we buy a physical copy, which are included in the collector's edition. So, and Rocket League's been out since, I feel like it's been out for a year now. It's probably actually releasing to celebrate a year of Rocket League. And in that time, Rocket League's absolutely taken off. There's so many people that have Rocket League digitally. People that poured hours into the game, got all the DLC and everything, and then they do this to them, and it's like, okay, great, you can put a physical copy out there so we can sell more copies of Rocket League so we have more people to play with, but don't go putting exclusive content in it that we can't have when we've been supporting your game since day one.
I feel like if they'd done more, like, if they'd put in, like, a Hot Wheels, like, Rocket League car or something, that would have been more fair, because that's, like, a physical thing. You couldn't have got it digitally anyway, but it's, like, cool for the fans. Like, oh, cool, I want that Hot Wheel car.
I actually love that idea.
I want that now. I want a Rocket League Hot Wheel now.
They should hire me as a product idea. Like,
actually, that would be... Actually, you could get a... They could make Rocket League Hot Wheel sets. Where you could have, like, you have the Hot Wheel cars and they kick like soccer balls.
We need a kick.
You can get
idea.
Mario Hot Wheel sets. It doesn't make any sense. They don't even look like Mario Karts. They're just like vans with a picture of Mario's face. So Rocket League would be an even better candidate for this.
Alright, finish off the news for us, Tam.
Well, basically, to finish off the news, it's beta season. This weekend is Battleborn. And then next weekend after is Doom.
So
basically,
I don't need to correct you, Tam, but Battleborn was actually the weekend just gone, but it's still actually it was that PS4 players got it early, and now the PC and Xbox One players get let in. PS4 players still have it, and now the beta finishes the 18th, I think, or the 19th.
Okay.
So yeah, Battleborn's going for a while, and Doom is this weekend, and there was another one, wasn't there? Just recently announced.
The one that I'm disappointed that Tam forgot. Lost Readers.
No, I'm going to say this. I need to... We're going to make this good because, yes, there is another beta that was announced yesterday. it is fantastic because it is for the Wii U, and it looks awesome because it reminds me of my favorite Wii U game, which, as some of you may or may not know, is Devil's Third. This game is called Lost Reavers because Bandai Namco decided to put a free-to-play game on the Wii U, and it is just this 4-player co-op like third-person shooter game, action game, which just looks absolutely bizarre. I still don't know why it exists, but I feel like it's gonna be brilliant. The thing is, it kind of looks rubbish, but Joseph's actually played it because it's been in beta in Japan for a couple of weeks, and he actually said it's fun. He enjoyed it. He actually enjoyed it more than me, Tomo, because he got that early too.
Well,
he's like, "Oh yeah, Lost
saying
Reavers is good."
That's not saying much. But I think we'll have fun with Lost Reavers.
Oh, we are. We're all going to be playing Lost Reavers at some point, and you can stream it, and we'll be playing.
Does this mean we're never going back to Devil's Third? Because
No, we are going back to Devil's Third.
I'll be okay with that if we don't.
We need
get
to.
that. April releases. So we don't have a whole lot this month. I'm just going to rattle off the list now. So we've got Dark Souls 3, which just came out today, I believe, or is it tomorrow for us?
It came out today.
It did come out today, and so did Ratchet and Clank, the movie, the game, which.
Yes.
I think that came out overseas today, but it's not out in Australia.
Oh, we don't have Ratchet yet. Okay.
No, but it's got really good reviews actually though, overseas. It's getting like 9 out of 10s, 8 out of 10s, so it's one to watch, I think.
Quantum Break, I think that's also already out.
Yep, that came out 4th of April.
Star Fox Zero, which I think we are all planning on getting.
Yep.
And Banner Saga 2.
I've only been waiting 2 decades for Star Fox Zero. Well, not exactly 2 decades. However long it's been since Lilac Wars came out. I think that was 97.
Yeah.
Or 98.
We still owe someone a copy of Star Fox Zero for another castle competition last year, when we thought the game was coming out last year.
Now, the question is, are you dicking him over and just getting him a standard version, or are you getting him the first print or whatever it's called?
Considering last year the first print edition didn't exist, we're going to go with the standard.
Oh, he's going to have to buy that Star Fox guard separately and get his grippy on slippy action.
So, Star Fox Zero, you guys have been obviously keeping an eye on it. Did you see the latest trailer with the puppets? I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah, it was really good.
And I must say the gameplay shown in the trailers is getting a lot better. They seem to be,
I was going to ask you that.
Because the initial trailers were mainly showing Corneria and like another stage gameplay, whereas this shows a lot more varied gameplay. Because even at E3, the gameplay they were showing was mainly Corneria, the desert Titania, the desert mission with the tank, and then they were also showing the one mission where you're flying the gyrocopter thing and dropping off the espionage robot thing that I don't know what it actually does, but yeah, it was showing basically 3 stages. This one shows a lot more. So, and they've it seems like the editing of the gameplay is a lot better as well. It's more fast paced, and it just seems like they've got better at marketing in 6 months for Star Fox Zero somehow. Who knows how?
The general consensus that I'm reading, because American reviewers already have copies of the game, but they've done some sort of previews and stuff, and it's like the controls are going to be the big divisive factor by far. It seems a lot of people are not able to get their head around the simultaneous aim/movement sort of thing that's being separated. Like you aim with the gyro and then move the ship with the sticks. Other people say it's really good. You just have to get real used to it because it's a weird sort of experience. So it'll be curious to see how everyone here reacts to it once we get our hands on it, just to see who does and doesn't sort of adjust to the controls.
I think reviewers are ready to tear it to shreds over the controls. But
yeah, that's unfortunate. It seems to be the case because you sometimes get the people who are willing to persist, and they're saying once you persist, you'll get used to it, and it's a good game. But I feel like that might be a minority, which is kind of unfortunate if it is otherwise a really good game.
Did we want to touch on Dark Souls 3? Any of you guys plan on picking that up at all?
No, I'm not prepared to die yet. I'm pretty young, so I'm not going to touch that stuff.
Yeah. I'm not really sold on Dark Souls.
And
It's not for
I'm
everyone.
I think it's like I appreciate what it is. Like I can see why it's good, but I think either I'm just not that into getting stressed out constantly or something. But it just none of the Souls or Bloodborne or those type of games have clicked with me at all.
Will seems to be a huge fan of Dark Souls. He gave Dark Souls 3 5 out of 5 on another castle, so if you haven't read that review yet, go check that out.
Let him do that. And don't ever give perfect scores. You gotta keep it, you know.
I think the only other time we've given out perfect score was Witcher 3. Anyway, games. Quantum Break. I'm actually kind of interested in Quantum Break. And the one thing I was unsure of was how, it was going to be a TV show, but it's still a game, and then didn't know whether that would take away from the game. But from all reports, it actually seems to be pretty solid. And the TV show, I think they're hour-long episodes, maybe 2-hour-long episodes, but they're split up over. Actually, I'm pretty sure they're only an hour. Yeah, no, 2 hours doesn't sound right at all. Hour-long episodes split up over 10 hours, say, for a playthrough. So that sounds pretty good. It's much better than any Final Fantasy game with their cutscenes, the recent ones anyway. So no, I'll keep an eye on Quantum Break. I'm very interested in playing it.
I've been keeping an eye on it because I think Remedy have just put out some really good games that just unfortunately have not sold well, like Alan Wake. Yeah. And on Rocket Chainsaw, our reviewer Anthony gave it a pretty good score. I won't spoil it, but I think it was like pretty high. So I trust his opinion, so I might pick it up. But I've been thinking, like, I know I don't have time to play it now. I'm pretty confident it's also not going to sell well, and then I'm going to be able to pick it up in like June for like $20 or something, which I know is a horrible thing to say and do, but like at the same time, like money. I'm keen to play it just because it looks cool. And as I said, they've been a pretty consistently good developer, so it's good to support the good teams out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Ratchet and Clank. So, does anyone really know much about this Ratchet and Clank game apart from that it's a remake, but it's not really a remake because it's inspired by the movie as well?
It's a reimagining of the first game based on the movie, which the movie is a reimagining of the first game story. So it's kind of like Inception.
That sounds great.
Oh, okay. So it's a game within a game within a game.
Yeah, kind of. Or it's more like Street Fighter the movie, the game.
But I'm pretty keen for Ratchet and Clank. I've played bits of the classic ones, and then I did plan to play a crack in time, and then I didn't get around to it, and then I just watched my housemate play the whole thing, and I still haven't played it. But I'll actually probably give that a playthrough before. When does the game come out here? If it came out, because the movie comes out here this month too, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's late April or something. I can double check.
April for us. That sounds about right.
Probably similar to when the game comes out, yeah. But yeah, I reckon if you've never played a Ratchet game, because it's a good series, you may as well pick this up because the reviews in America have been pretty solid. It's basically a retelling of the origin story, so you don't need to have any context. And yeah, if you have a PS4, you may as well jump on it because I think isn't it cheap as well? It's not like full priced, I don't think, from memory.
Yeah,
it's like a budget release.
It's $49.
Oh, there you go. That's pretty cheap. I'm willing to bet it's
I think it was
as
even
long
cheaper.
as.
I think it was even cheaper in Target. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Target's usually pretty cheap, and it'll be as long as like a normal 3D action platformer that used to cost like full price back when PS2 was like the main console. So
yeah,
I think that's good value.
So we've still got one more game left. Banner Saga 2. Anybody know this was coming out? I didn't know this was coming out.
I forgot about it because I have a copy of the first game. Bought it for like $9 from EB Games a year ago, but Still haven't bought it, but I've heard very good things about it, and I love strategy RPGs, so I will play it eventually, I think.
Similar, but I think I bought it on Steam, maybe like in a sale for cheap because I hear amazing things about the first game, but I've not played it. But I think, yeah, the general consensus is it's a great strategy RPG. At least the first one was, so I'm sure people of that who like that genre should like the second one. So I don't know, keep an eye on it, I guess.
One more bit of news, which is nice and fresh, we got it just today, is that the Titanfall 2 had a teaser trailer drop, and it has revealed that the mechs will have these big-ass swords.
Wow, that sounds actually really cool.
Yeah, and that one looks like it's got like lightning running through it, so it's just...
So you're now gonna have massive mechs having sword fights with each other. Okay.
And it's PS4 as well, which
This
we all
is
thought.
becoming Titanfall's becoming even more like Gundam than it was to begin with.
Well, I always felt Titanfall should have been more about the mechs than running around. Like I felt sometimes in the original Titanfall, I felt sometimes that it was better to not be in one.
I think a lot of people said when you're in a mech, you're powerful, but you're still like a sitting duck because you're massive and everybody wants to kill you because you're in a mech.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe giving them swords will fix that.
If you could do some cool duels, like I could see some cool one-on-one stuff. But if it's just like a knife, like in any other FPS, but you're in a mech, like if it just feels the same as that, then it's a letdown. But if it's actually like feels like you got a massive sword that's got lightning coming out of it, that would be pretty badass to play as.
I'm just gonna keep rattling off a bit more news just to wrap things up. Dark Souls is getting a board game.
Is it like an interactive board game that if you actually lose in the board game, your friend has to get his knife out and stab you? Because you have to prepare to die?
I think that is probably how it works, yes, Dan. Rust, if anyone still plays that, now assigns players a random permanent gender, so that
I saw
female
that.
characters. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, we know is still coming. It's on its way, but apparently it's getting a sequel. They're already planning a sequel.
Mhm.
You know more about that, Tam, than I do.
I looked more into that rumor and it seems quite suspect. So basically, it's just that whoever did the voice audio for the company that did the voice audio for that game is basically like look hiring for new people to do more voice work. So for a video game, and I think the only video game they've worked on is Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and people are like, oh, it must be a sequel. So it could just be an unrelated game.
I thought that the job description though mentioned pop idols, and that was part of the reason people linked it to that. Which too. I mean, it could be another pop idol game, but it's interesting that they did this pop idol game and now they cast. And I think the other thing we discussed at one point was it could be like Atlas is pretty renowned with at least some of the Shin Megami and Persona games to be like, here's the first version, and then 2 years later, here's an updated version with more stuff or whatever, usually on like a handheld or something. But so it could just be that. It could be like the NX, like, Sharp FE, Super Wonderlust edition or something. I don't know, like with an extra mission and an extra character you can get.
I can see a lot of Wii U games getting NX versions actually.
Yeah.
Subject. Yeah. And Zelda Wii U is the most recent one, of course, to be rumored to having that. We suspected that as well, I think.
And as I said a couple of months ago, I reckon there will be a Smash Wii U will just get an NX re-release with all the DLC included. That's my prediction.
I mean, in some ways, like as a Wii U fan, that kind of like upsetting in the sense like I don't want to have to buy all these games again, or they're not really games maybe you will buy again. But I think at the same time, it makes sense just considering how poorly the Wii U has sold. Like it's like a third of GameCube. I think it hasn't even gotten close to that, and that's
It sold 12 million. I think GameCube sold about 20.
I thought GameCube was 30s.
No, I thought GameCube only sold about 22, and N64 sold about 40.
I think if I was Nintendo, I would be too disappointed if not enough people got to experience the Wii U's library, because the Wii U does actually have a pretty good library and
It does.
it's just
And a lot of-
unfortunate that the console hasn't sold well. So I
Yeah.
think it makes too much sense to not take some of those games to
Oh,
the next
and-
console.
And
so
actually, related to that, it's old news, but I don't think we ever mentioned it. They are releasing Nintendo Select titles for Wii U.
Yeah, they that's happening. I think this month, isn't it? In that
Yeah,
date?
it's it's Wii U Party, Super Mario Bros. U, and Super Luigi U, Wind Waker, Tropical Freeze, Undercover, Lego City Undercover, and Wii Party U. So there's 5 games.
Some of those games are actually quite hard to come by now.
Well, Lego
That's
City
good.
Undercover is very hard to come by.
And it's a good game with just atrocious loading times.
I want you guys to just recommend one game to pick up this month. It could be a game from last month, it could be a game that's coming out this month, it could just be some other random game that you've been playing. So, go. And you're not allowed to recommend the same game from last month.
Pokemon Snap. Either get it on 64, Wii Virtual Console, or Wii U Virtual Console when it comes out. Just go buy it, go play it, and then you will join the cult of the believers.
I can't remember what I said last month. I'm afraid of repeating myself.
Last month you said Project X Zone, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you did.
Or
Yeah.
Bravely Second,
Okay.
one of those two.
Yeah, it was Bravely Second.
Okay, this month I'll say Project X Zone 2. Buy it.
Sega
Action
Sanshiro,
packed.
Sega Sanshiro.
Say guitar, Sanshiro, say guitar. Yeah.
I guess I'll go next. A game that has become a crazy obsession of all of my friends, including myself, this last month has been Stardew Valley, which, if you haven't played a Harvest Moon game, it is basically Harvest Moon. But it's on the PC, and it's cheap, and you'll end up, dating a person and having a kid and your dog, and turnips. Turnips are cool.
Oh my god,
Anyway.
did you guys hear that story about that guy in Skyrim? How much hell he went
Yes!
through just for his dog?
To get the dog. That was
was brilliant.
brilliant.
That makes me want to play Skyrim, but I won't.
Mm.
Oh,
And then
that's
he
great.
can't even see the dog anymore, but he knows it's safe, so he's happy.
Alright, I'm just gonna throw something out there. I'm gonna say, because I've seen it cheap in catalogs recently, so I'm pretty sure you can go pick it up for a nice price. As we all know, Uncharted 4 is releasing next month, so this month you should probably go pick up Uncharted Collection, which is reasonably cheap, as I said. If you haven't played all of the Uncharted games, if you've played maybe 2 of them, don't worry about it. You won't need to really know all the story, I don't think. But I mean, if you've only barely touched them, or maybe you've finished one, go pick it up, because I'm considering doing the same thing, just playing through all of them to refresh my memory, and that I get to play them in HD as well. So, just on Uncharted 4, I've seen some recent gameplay videos of it, and it actually looks really good, like really good. I don't know if you guys have been following it, but yeah, I know JP is going to be picking up, and I'm probably picking it up day one at this stage.
Yeah, I'm probably similar boat. I loved 2, was okay about 3, never played 1. So but 4 looks great, so may as well give it a shot. And again, like you said, I haven't played anything on PlayStation, so I got to justify that $500 or whatever.
All right, guys, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for joining in for this podcast.
Weren't you talking about doing a DS one in relation to the top 10 DS games article
Top
or
5.
something you guys are voting on? But it's top 5 we vote for, and then it's top 10 in the article? I don't even work for your site, and I
What?
know these things.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know. I just saw
check
Joseph
this
randomly
out.
put the thread up. I haven't actually read the thread. I just voted.
Surely, no.
Mm.
He wrote top 5, didn't he?
No, it's top 5. You put your top 5, and then the top 10 will pop up on the actual list.
Oh, that's silly, Joe. What are you doing?
Yeah, he's right.
Anyway, this podcast was meant to end. Or has it ended?
Yeah.
It can
Oh,
end now.
Dave's just going to do a fade out.
Fade out.
of us can crap, I think.
Fading
Oh,
out.
Tim, you can say
Fading
goodbye
out.
now.
Fading out. Fading out. Fading out.
Auf
Four times says
Wiedersehen.
goodbye. Fading out.
Goodbye.